But the question I had was, so the reason you asked the question is, I think she answered differently. You asked, what is more important for you, getting a promotion or spending more time with your children. So my clients being codependent, they are gonna lie
Yep.
and they're gonna just say, yeah, of course I want to spend more time with my kids, right? So I was wondering if I had just asked, what would that look like? What do you mean?
So let you and I role play that.
Okay.
So hey, Dr. Garv, let's go back just like a minute ago. You said something that I'm curious about. You said more time with your kids.
Mhm.
Is your current job not providing you enough time with your kids in the moment?
Yeah, it's not because I am working 12 hours a day.
Mhm.
I have global clients, so sometimes I have to wake up for a meeting at midnight. I come home at 7 o'clock. I hardly get any time with them.
Okay. If you got promoted, would that get better or would that get worse from your perspective?
I have heard it gets worse, but then you mentioned in that video that you are helping vice presidents and C-level people, have a standard amount of time they spend during the day and have time for the family. So I'm
Okay.
hoping you can help me figure out.
Okay. The current company you're with right now, if you did get promoted, would it be worse with time with your kids or would it be better from what you currently know within your company?
Worse because I
Okay.
see my boss and he just works like crazy. He's sending email on Sundays and when he's on vacation, and I don't want that.
Okay. Is there a position in your company you could see that would be better money wise, position wise, and also time wise with the kids currently with your company? Maybe not the ideal position, but a position nonetheless.
I mean, I want to get promoted and I'm not really tied to this company. I just want to
Cool.
create my ideal position, whether it's here or another company. And you
Okay.
help with landing jobs, right?
100%. And that's a big thing. And like when I first start working and bring somebody on as a client, we look at your ideal lifestyle, we look at the ideal career, and we want to make sure that that meshes. Because I don't want to help you get promoted in your company and you celebrate you got promoted, and then you message me 60 days later going, I hate this job. Why did I do this? I don't want that for you. Right. And that's why that when you brought up the kid thing, it was super important because not all of us want to work 16 hours a day. I know I don't.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm glad you're open to that. So let me ask, would you be okay? Sometimes being promoted inside a company that you're currently at can happen really fast. Like sometimes when we start having you do certain things with my program, I mean, you start getting recognized within like a week or two. And I know people have been promoted under 30 days that weren't even known by anybody in HR, except for
Wow.
just a number, right?
That
But if
that
we're looking at switching company, say that again.
that's hard to believe, but
Yeah,
I guess that happens.
it does. And that's why so many people work with me is because I really help you showcase that really quickly. But if moving up in your company is going to take time away from your kids and make your life worse, we would have to look at potentially a position outside of what you're currently doing. That can take a little bit longer. I mean, it might take 30 days, it might take 6 months.
Hmm.
If it did take 6 months, would that be okay with you?
I think so because I've been trying to, get promoted for the last 2 years and it has not happened. So I mean, 6 more months is
Okay.
gonna be
So you
okay.
are okay with it then?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. And if you notice, she said, I think so,
Mhm.
right? So I had to so you are okay with it then?
Double down.
Yeah. And so she said yes, so I was able to move forward. Um, okay, perfect. So let's say 6 months from now, you get offered a position at XYZ company.
Mhm.
What does that perfect schedule look like for you in position? So you know that not only you're making more money,
Mm.
but you have a lot more time freedom that you don't currently have or wouldn't have you got promoted inside. Paint me a picture what that career actually looks like.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So I want to start my day early.
Mhm.
Once I drop my kids off, I get some time to, just sit and strategize instead of just diving into my emails and get, scattered in all directions. And then half an hour before I leave at 4:30, or I 3:30 would be ideal, but I think 4:35 is fine with me.
Okay.
But I check my last email, I close my laptop, and I come home and I'm with my children. And I
Okay.
don't want to go back and check my emails or answer any phone calls.
Okay. Not only the time with them, but knowing that once you clock out, you're not checking your phone every 10 minutes. So you're actually present with your kids is really important too
Yes.
then.
Yeah, my children have started actually calling me out on that because I'm not 100% present with them.
Okay. Question for you here. Say 6 months from now, you do get that position that allows you that time and allows that. If you were making the same amount of money and didn't get a pay raise, would you still consider that a win?
Hmm, that's a good question. No, I want it all because
Mm, I love it.
I'm really great at what I do, and I don't want to be underpaid.
Okay. When you said I want it all, so you want the time, you want more money. What else is in that all? So I truly understand.
Just the freedom and that confidence that, yeah, I'm finally being recognized. I'm doing what I love, and I am living my life the way I want to live.
Okay.
Freedom, I guess.
When you said that, your face just really lit up and it was beautiful. The picture you had of yourself in that moment, who was that person that made you so happy right there?
I think that's who I am. Over the years, I feel like I have become this person I don't even recognize. And I feel that that's me, who has this joy for living her life and making an impact at work and being a great mom. And I feel like I have lost her.
I hate when people kind of talk about losing a part of themselves. Because it's not lost right now, it's just suffocated. So explain to me like what it would do for you, like personally, knowing that hey, you just been the first week on the job, a new job, you're making more money, you got a promotion, people view you as a leader, they look up to you or listening to you. You have that ability to where you clock in early, you get things done. You get done early, you get to clock out early. You don't have to check it at all. And now you've got all the time with the kids. What does that do to you on Friday when you get home and you clock out and it's 2 p.m., knowing your kids are gonna be home from school? Like, what's that do for you personally, though?
Mm. Well, honestly, the first thing I want to say is that all the things that you were saying, Scott, I I don't even know if it's possible because I have heard
Mm,
horror stories from my friends and my colleagues.
yeah,
But just listening to that you can help me get there, it's just making me feel relieved.
cool.
Then, on Friday evenings when I coming home, I would be just so happy, looking forward to all the plans that we've already made for the weekend, hanging out with my children. They're no longer complaining that I'm on my phone all the time, and that, and I'm losing my temper at them because I just feel like they're nagging me, and it feels so, it hurts my heart because they are 6 and 8, and they are so little, and I expect them to behave as adults and understand what I am going through versus being that mom to understand that they are little people and they need more support from me. So yeah, being that mom who is independent, financially independent, and also, you know be a rock for them. and not impose my expectations on them.
Yeah. You brought up something interesting when you said you don't even know if it's possible or not. I mean, do you believe it's impossible for you to get promoted into a position that you can work less, you can clock out, and you can make more? Do you believe that that's a possibility out there, or not?
I believe in possibilities because I mean I left my home country to start a new life here, so anything is possible. But for the last 6 years, I feel so beat down
Okay.
that I don't know why I'm teary eyed, but oh gosh, that question just like yeah. But yeah, it's yeah, I know I have it in me. I just don't know how to communicate, how to show my value.
Okay.
And it's just tiring because, I give my all to work, and on top of it, I have to prove myself that, hey, I am the right person for that next position. And
Okay. When you moved to this country, like you said, it was before you did, it was a possibility, right?
mhm,
And you made it a reality now.
yeah,
So if we're looking at this perfect position as a possibility, are you ready to actually make it a reality?
I want to make it a reality.
Okay. I want that for you too. Um, but full transparency, there's a flip side on the other side of the coin here. Because if we don't take any action to make it a possibility, from a possibility to a reality, just like you deciding I'm packing up all my stuff and moving to a different country, you had to take that action to make that shift. You would still be in your home country, right? So right now, if we don't do anything to make a change to make this a reality, and you continue just in the same job that you're at right now, and we're 6 months or 12 months down the road, what does that look like for you?
I don't think I want to go there. It's just too much.
Why not?
Yeah, I mean, I already feel exhausted. I don't think I want to relive that.
Okay, because that is the current reality we're in right now. It's not a possibility of an outcome. That is going to be the reality. So why, like today, do you feel like you need to do something to make the dream job you want, instead of just looking as a possibility, to start making it a reality? What do you feel like you need to do today?
Yeah, I need to do something, take action to make that change.
Okay.
And your, I looked at the success stories, and I want that for me.
Okay. So you'd kind of drawn a line in the sand today saying, hey, I'm doing something. I'm going to make this a reality. Do you feel I'm the right individual to fight with you side by side to make it a reality as quick as possible rather than doing it alone?
I mean, it seems you can help me, but I don't know, much about your program and how you
Okay,
help.
cool. And I'll jump into that here in just a second. But before I do that, everything you've known about me so far in our conversation here today, do you feel like you trust me enough right now that I could help you do that with the information you currently have, or not?
I do.
Yeah. Okay. You want me to walk you through how what it looks like, what it's going to really look like when I work with you?
Yeah, yeah. Let me
Okay.
grab a notepad.
Okay, cool. Let's do
What
that.
are you doing here? What are you doing here? Oh my God. First of all, you you're just like sitting and chatting, pretending to be thinking and whatnot. That itself is like that feeling I was getting is you're listening and you are having that conversation. So I feel like when I was asking Katie these questions, I knew I was to ask those questions. I was supposed to ask those questions, but it wasn't coming from genuine interest in her, right? So even though it's a role play, right? but it wasn't a genuine. It was like I am doing a role play and I'm practicing. So let me get all those questions in and the framework in. But for you to be just sitting like this, and I literally, like, I had tears in my eyes, like, and this is a role play. I need to know what you're doing.
I
Felt
love
like
it.
it felt like, this is gonna sound really weird, but this is just a major image I just had, but it felt like with Katie and Renalini, it was popcorn, 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 popcorn. And Scott feels like butter. But
Yeah.
he's just freaking sitting on you, and you're like soaking it in.
It's
Yeah.
crazy. I felt the same way both times when I was really on the phone with Scott and when I've role played. It feels like there's something going on in his office and in his world, and I want it. and and I want to be exposed like that. And I want my hand held like that. And I don't actually have a choice about whether I take this opportunity because I'd be an idiot not to. Have the person in the room who can really help me and say no. I would be a total fool. Yeah. So I
Right.
love that you laughed about that and yelled about it because I feel the same way.
And I love both of you, using analogies and how you felt and all that. It's amazing to hear that you guys are listening and feeling that as well, right? And so, Melanie, you asked a very important question.
What are
What
you?
was I doing there?
Yes.
And you answered your own question.
Hmm.
What was it?
Well, couple of things. So one is, I just need to be myself. And
Mhm.
then, I sometimes get confused. So when you give me that feedback, your face lit up. So I'm like, so should my face light up? But you were just like sitting, like you almost, there was no expressions, but your words and the tone of your voice assured me that you're listening, you're paying attention, and you're asking some really deep questions. So I guess I
And
don't need to focus so much on me as long as I am connected with that person.
yeah,
And I'm really, like, these questions are coming out of, I want to say love, I really want to say out of love,
yep.
but first
And
love.
so yes, and so like I made a comment about like you lit up there, right? You displayed like, hey, this is me and I have 100% belief in this with
Okay.
your eyes when you lit up, right? Like, I believe this.
Mm.
Just like when you said, hey, Scott, you kind of are looking around, you're just boom. But then Katie said, hey, what's in your office? I want that. I need that. Right. And I
And I
told
said
you
you were
before.
butter.
Yeah. Well, and that's where like Manali, you in sitting the way that you do now and actually being comfortable of who you are in your own space. That's when you make that's when it's the easiest. So you have to be, this is all of you guys. I'm just comfortable being myself in this space and I care enough to really ask you questions. And I don't need to pretend like I'm listening because I am listening. Because if I'm not listening, I'm only thinking about the next question I'm going to ask you. I'm going to miss a ton of stuff. And that's why going by a script will fail you every time rather than, hey, we were talking about the heaven. You went into the hell. I had to talk about that hell and then bring you back up to the heaven. Then you went back down. I had to bring you back up into it again before I could be like, who are you personally in this?
Mm.
Even in that moment, you then doubted yourself of being able to be that person.
Mm.
So I had to care enough to lift you up. Well, do you actually think you could become this individual?
Yeah.
By asking questions, by not going, well, hey, if you don't think you can, you never will, which is you talking at somebody,
Yeah.
rather than me using an analogy of like, hey, do you think that job's even out there?
Mm.
Well, yeah, I do. Do you think you could actually potentially get that job? Well, I do. Okay, why do you think that could be a reality? And then you told me a story about your past, right? And I was able to tie that back in, which again is why you felt like I was listening to you, because I was. So I was able to tie it back in and double down on your conviction of this being a possibility, just like when you were at home and you made a decision to come to a different country, it was only a possibility until you took action. And you made that a reality.
Hmm.
Right now, it's only a possibility. Are you ready to act to make it your reality?
That's when I started crying, actually.
Yeah, because you knew it was true. You knew it was possible in that moment now. Now that person that you want to become is not just a dream anymore. You just anchored your truth to it and knew that it can happen.
Hmm.
Right. And like you said, you started crying at that moment. And then I had to ask you, why do you think that if I go and fight with you side by side, why do you think that's going to give you your best chance of making this a reality? Well, yeah, I do, sort of. Right. And I had to kind of get you to double
I
down.
know that was really smart. I thought that it's like I'm not taking this for now. I need to know whether you trust me or not before I make that proposal.
Yep. And that was even before I went into the hell.
Yeah.
Right. And I even tied back your reality into that and I took it away. Like right now, without taking action, where are you going to be in 6 or 12 months? Well, I can't be there.
Hmm.
Well, that's not a possibility 6 or 12 months from now of you hating your career. That will be your reality unless you do something else. So what do you need to do now?
That was another thing. So I was wondering how you're going to respond because I wanted to see, if I said I don't want to go there.
Yep.
And instead of like giving them a lecture and saying, yeah, 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 we always want to avoid the not so pretty part. But you were just like, you just made me realize I don't want to go there because I'm already living that.
Yep.
And it's only going to get worse. Or even if it stays the way it is right now, 12 months later, I don't want that reality for me. That was just,
I
Yep.
forget, how did you do that? When she was acting like that, how did you talk about that with her?
Yeah. I just said, well, that's the tough part. That's the double-edged sword. Because if we don't take any action, that is your reality.
Yeah. I love the we talk too. You have we talk. And I remember that on my sales call with you. You were like, well, we could XYZ if we don't do something. And I was like, oh, he's totally in my corner. Like, and you always also, I've noticed you validated her story multiple times. Hey, you did this before. You took this huge risk.
Yep.
I don't know what that would be in my offer, but it's huge. It's so massive to find the person who actually is capable of this and can do this and help them see her. Yeah.
Yep. And again, if we just look at what's the purpose of a sales call, it's to get someone to make a commitment to change
Yeah.
and buy in that you're the solution.
It's like you're given a page, you're making them write a page of their brag book that Russ tells you to do. Because every time I doubt my ability to do this, I have to remind myself, you wrote a book, you got a doctorate degree, then you got 2 doctorate degrees, then you went out on your own and, left your husband, and you're not just fine, you're doing great. You can do this. If anybody can do this, you can do this. And that's kind of like what you're doing with her on the call, is reminding her of her greatness.
100%. And, bringing those little things up, and not every call you get those type of things, right? And if you're fishing and try to get someone to there, it's going to be a superficial one.
Yeah.
And that's why you have to be yourself and you have to listen. Because when you ask these questions, they're going to give you answers. The answers is where the keys are. Right? So if we go back, that part of that conversation, how did I have that part of the conversation? It's because it all started with the key she gave me around the kids. Right? And then I just followed the framework with that point as well. And that's where, when you follow the frameworks, when people give you the answers, if I'm not listening to the answers and I'm just thinking about the next question, I'm going to skip over stuff. And when you get the, Dr. Garver's like, oh, you gave me 3 things. I don't know what to go. Okay. Where do you go? Wow. The thing that's going to make the most that you can tell. And it's normally the first thing they say. right? My kids, and then it was this and this and this. These other things are just where people talk to throw you off. It's a subconscious protective conversation thing that they've developed over the years to protect themselves. Oh shit, I just told you the truth. Now I'm going to just say a bunch of other stuff to distract from that. So you don't really see who I am. I'm going to run away from this. So lots of times, hey, the first thing they said was truly the most important thing to them. And that's why watching them and even bringing up your face, you know, when you were telling me who this person was, your face did light up. Which is why I use that then to tie to, let's get to the personal aspect, not just a career thing. Oh my gosh, just a second ago, like your face lit up.
That was, yeah, that was another. I'm saying this as a ninja strategy, but that's for me to remember. But I know you were not saying it to manipulate me.
No.
That was not the energy. But I mean, these are the things that that are great, right? Because women, as women, we are looking for confirmation of our greatness, right? I mean, we shouldn't be doing that, but it feels good to the heart that somebody is noticing me, right?
Yep. And the other thing, number one, so yes, I'm noticing you, making you actually feel like I see you, right? And then the next question was to get you to replay who that was again in your mind, and then tell me who that person is. Because that's the person you're trying to become. And you just lived that person a second ago. Don't let that person run away. Let's look at that person. Do you want to become that person? Let's make that a reality if you do. Because I'm a firm believer there's no such thing as impossible. It's all I'm possible. But to make it a reality, what do we need to do today? Right? So that commitment to move today.
This is really the part where your calmness is so powerful because it's like the word I have in mind is grave. You have a grave concern for this person about where they are. And you expressed that in our call. You were like, look, in 6 weeks, if nothing is monetized, the mission is over. It's over. But it was so calm, and I so felt like it was my problem. And that I was speaking with someone who cared about that problem. Like, that's so profound. I think I really struggle with, like, I am so passionate about what I do that it like whacks people in the face. Like, oh, we can totally do that. I see it every freaking day. Yes, 100%. Like, what are you waiting for? Rather than walking them through that grave concern. Like, let's sit in that for a minute. That's okay, but let's just, let's sit in that for a minute. What does this look like if we don't do something?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
And one thing, all three of you, you have to be you.
No,
Yeah.
I want you on the calls.
But
or can we hire you to do all of our enrollment? Because
so the biggest problem when I see salespeople is they try to copy another successful salesperson.
totally. Yeah. Yep.
And you need to be you. Now, the thing is, being you, you can perfect your mannerisms, how you communicate. Right?
Yeah.
So learning from watching me, you can develop those skills and act that way. But if all of a sudden Katie, if I'm watching all your content and all of a sudden I hop on a sales call with you and you're showing up.
Call Scott in his office.
it might be a shock to some people.
Yeah.
Which is why having your voice, but also the ability to, like you said, hey, we're having a conversation here. Oh shit. Control the tone of your voice and how slow or fast you're speaking.
Right.
When it matters.
Because that's genuine. I mean, it's like, because what you're doing, and I think this is what you were asking Scott to tell you, what are you doing there? There's a heart behind it. You have an intention. So my aim in all that I'm listening to is to understand your intention at each step, because I know those are true intentions.
Yeah.
And then if I can shift my behavior to line up with the truth of my intention, if my intention is for someone to examine what in the world this is actually going to look like if they do not grab my hand,
Yeah.
that's genuine. That's different than my intention. I really freaking want to see you do this. That's a different intention. I need to walk them through what is this going to look like. So I want to adjust my behavior to the truth of that intention. And then I know I can be myself in it.
Yep. And your intention.
Can I
Yeah, go
add
ahead.
what Katie said, and then you can respond to both of us? But I totally resonate with Katie, because I feel like here, here's gold. What are you doing? Why aren't you walking
Yeah.
toward goal? And then we bring that convincing energy versus like letting them discover that, oh, on this path is is gold, right?
Yep. And so it's a beautiful, and I'm glad you added that piece in. So I'm going to start off with this part. What's the intention of every call?
What you just said, to get someone to commit to change and to choose you as the person who can get them there.
The number one goal for any call
It's the same.
It's to make them
for someone
realize
to
they
make
have
a
a problem.
it's
Make a
make them a
decision.
decision.
Uh,
That doesn't mean it works with me.
Right. Okay.
If I don't help someone make a decision on a phone call, I failed them.
Well, you're a bad coach.
Yeah, 100%. I wasted their time and I wasted my time, and I failed them to stay exactly where they are.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So my only goal of any conversation is I'm here to help you make a decision. That decision either stay where you are or take action towards something different. So if you go into every call with that intention, I'm here just to help you make a decision. That's it.
You did tell people that?
No. But if
Would
I
you?
go, I could 100%.
Cool.
You know, and going back to like Bill's question at the very beginning of like, hey, if someone's really, hey, dude, I'm not here to like manipulate you or trying to sell anything. I'm just here to help you make a decision.
Yeah.
Now that decision could be staying where you are and doing nothing. It could be hiring us to do something for you. Or you going, hey, I am not going to stay stuck. You guys aren't the right fit for me, but I know someone that is.
Yep.
That's my goal. Just make sure you make a decision, man, one way or another. But
Yeah.
I don't even know where you're at to even help you make a decision of what's right for you.
Yeah.
Staying right where you are might be the perfect decision for you. I don't care. Right. So if I walk in with every thought process there, that's really huge.
Yeah.
Now, Marinelli, just like you and Katie, like you said, of going, oh my gosh, I have something so great. You just need to get in. You don't even know.
Yeah.
You will chase people away.
Yeah.
You will chase
That's what
people away by doing that, right?
Or
So-
I was using the opposite tactic of like, dude, get real about where this is going. Like, hello, rehab is very expensive for the addict you are raising who is pushing you around right now. That's gonna suck. Like, come on.
Now, the excitement you have about your program should come across as confidence and convicted,
Yeah.
not you excited.
Right.
And how does that come across from the way you speak and the way that you conduct yourself?
Right.
So if you're that excited about your program, why are you not speaking confidently with these people during all conversations? That's where my calm and collectiveness comes from.
Yeah. Yeah.
Confidence in my ability of teaching someone, helping somebody, guiding somebody.
And it's very clear. Like, that's why I say that's what I meant when I said whatever's in his office, I want it, is I know that you are an encyclopedia of the things that I need. That's very clear when we have these conversations. I'm like, oh, he has what I need. Even when you were role playing my offer, I knew you had it.
And that's through the right questions, but the confidence and conviction that you
Yeah.
decide to stand in,
Yeah. Yep.
right? And portraying that, because then when you're asking questions, that confidence and certainty of what's behind the door that you're going to present them is their only option.
Yep.
You've got two doors. There's one in front of you and one behind you. Which one do you want?
Yep. That's so good.
And that's really the only conversation and the way the conversation should be. Two doors. The one that's behind me, do you want to come with, or turn back around and go back out the door that's behind you where you came from?
That's so
Because you
good.
have no other option. One or
I
the other.
also noticed one other thing. I think sometimes, and I think this is I like to call it a disease, especially for women, people pleasing. So I think we get not people pleasing, proving yourself. It's like we
Both.
always want to prove, my program is so great. All you need to do is, so we feel like, I should speak for myself. I feel like I need to work hard and prove myself and show her that, this is a great thing that they're signing up for. And it's so funny because I tell my clients to not do that. So when I teach them how to communicate, I teach them how to speak like you.
Yep.
And it's so funny that I'm realizing I need to take my own medicine now.
Yep.
The
And
call.
that's where I said, you're already deadly.
Mm,
But too often we hop on a sales call and we put on the sales guy hat
Right.
mm.
rather than walking in, no, this is me. Right. And that's a really important distinction. That's why if you walk in being you, doing exactly what you teach people to do,
Mm.
with the excitement of your program, but in a calm, confident, certain way,
Yeah.
it's huge. Now, talk about the people pleasing part. Disc
Doing-
profile. You guys have all taken them, right?
Mhm.
What are you guys?
DI.
Oh,
Mostly,
yeah. I'm ID. Yeah.
yeah, ID.
ID.
Uh,
Almost no C and no S. Almost none. Below the chart. Can you
kind
tell?
of I am, but Mark used to say that I am the one that makes most sales calls. I forgot what it was.
So I have a high I,
I have a high I also, yeah, but I forgot what.
and as in like 101%, like there's nobody ever hits that number type of
Same.
high.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the biggest thing about high eyes is they try to have everybody like them.
Yeah. It's charisma, right?
It's human connection, and you need to be liked.
Yeah. And connect with everybody. Every stranger is my new best friend.
And that can be the deadliest thing.
100%.
Do I portray any of that when I talk with you?
No.
No. Because I know it will lose me sales faster than anything. I also know that that doesn't benefit the person.
Right.
So again, if I truly care about a person, I want them to like me. Do you think they'll like me more if I change their life?
Yep. That's
Or
why
if or if we spend 15 minutes to be pals and they go, oh my gosh, and then you never talk to them again.
Yep. Agree.
Good
Right.
point.
And so that's the
Gotta
whole.
go.
See you,
Okay.
Cindy. So that's a big thing with both of you guys, having that confidence and conviction. Your job isn't there to get them to like you. People do buy from people they like. That's 100% factual. People do like buying from friends. That's 100% factual. Being friends with somebody in a sales call lose you more sales than anything. That's factual.
That's what I was
How do
doing.
you balance that out, right? And that is exactly what you were doing.
Yeah.
You're trying to convince through excitement,
Yeah.
and you're trying to get them to believe the way that you do through your excitement.
Yeah, and the more
Nothing other.
the more they reveal that they actually had the heart I thought they did, the more excited I got. Like, oh man, she's saying all the right stuff. This is obvious.
Yep.
Rather than
And
walking
then you
her
let
through,
that take over, and then they said no.
because they weren't walking through how obvious it was. I didn't take them
Right.
on that journey. Yeah.
Yes. And that's where staying calm, even in those moments, is really, really important, because the moment we get excited, we
We
lose
scare-
focus.
And scare. I
and
think
we're
I
not
scare
effective.
people
Yeah. And
because
that can be
my
part of it.
energy, my energy now is lunging at them like, oh my gosh, don't you see what I see?
Yeah.
Rather than, and that can come across. I have been on the other side of that, and it's no fun. Yeah.
Right. And again, if we use, the analogies of like a proposal and dating, there's a reason why there's a coined dating term, stage 5 clinger,
Uh-huh.
right? And so if you're acting like a stage 5 clinger on a sales call, is that really going to get someone to want to date you, or is that going to repel them faster than anything?
Right.
Right.
And it's
And
not the way I coach either. Like,
correct. Right. Like, and that's the thing of like, you're just so excited that it takes over and it does cause major issues.
yep.
And so all of you can learn to just be calm. And that was one thing with Melanie too, when she got her chair and she just sat back, and the way she is right now, it's definitely a good, comfortable power position through watching her. And that's where figuring stuff out of like, how do you feel like in your environment, and how are you portraying to somebody else? Because 85% of communication has nothing to do with the words, nonverbal, right? And so if I'm calm, if I'm relaxed, if I'm showcasing leadership and certainty through body language and how I'm moving and discussing and what I'm asking, that is where the buy-in comes in automatically, and you're leading people, right?
Yep.
And that's exactly what Melanie does with her clients to help them do that. And so, yes, you can immediately start doing that now. The other thing is at the beginning of your sales calls, the reason why it kind of seems popcorny, because you're focused on speaking up rather than a transformation in their life and career.
I think the speaking up is the hook, right? It's like to get them to.
Yeah, and it shouldn't be on a sales call. Yeah.
But when I talk, it should be about career and life transformation. But
Yes.
marketing speak up is something that, strikes a chord with my leads.
Yep. Because every time that you do that, like, oh, the speaking up, where do you see that showing up in your work? Run me through your normal day. Right. All of those questions don't matter. Right. But you bring them up because like, oh crap, now where do I go? Okay. Well, run me through your day. Running through your day doesn't matter. What really matters, okay, what career do you want? How long have you been in the position you are? How many times have you been turned down for promotions in your company, or that you applied to jobs? Why is that? What have you been trying to do to, well, I've hired a resume coach, I've done this, I've done that. Cool. It sounds like you've been doing some stuff. I guess, what would you change if you could? Well, I want to get hired. Cool. Well, why do you think you're not getting hired? Because you don't have a degree? You don't do your job well? Because you suck as a human? What is it? Right? There's a reason here. Let's figure it out. And yes, it's not about the speaking up. It's the internal game that you're not showcasing your excellence. And that's why women come to me, is because they do have excellence inside them. They've been suffocated at their current position, aren't getting any job offers, and aren't getting promoted, working 14-hour days away from their family, can't log out, and aren't making enough money. And on top of it, you're getting your ideas stolen from other coworkers. You're being trampled on. That sound about right? Do you want that to continue? Or do you want to show and showcase your excellence and walk around as the individual who actually does get promoted, who is leading a team? Because you need to learn to speak up Not just using your voice. That's shining who you are and showcasing that to the world and presenting yourself as that leader.
Mm. Yeah.
That's a way deeper conversation than, hey, do you need to speak up? And you always get stuck there in your role plays with the speak up part.
Good point. Yeah. Actually, I have a friend